Good evening to all and welcome to the session 200 grammar rules. Till yesterday you learned 162 rules and today you're going to learn 5 rules 163 to 167. All these rules go with indirect speech questions. Rule number 163, narration questions. The reporting verb said is changed to asked, wanted to know, inquired, etc. Any question, usually we change the reporting verb said to asked. She said, "What are you doing?" What are you doing is a question. And said is a reporting verb. Based on the rule, said changes to asked. She asked me what I was doing. He said, "What did you do yesterday?" Brackets me. He asked me what I had done the previous day. Here you are going to learn 5 rules. Whichever rule you deal with, focus on that particular dimension. This rule goes with the reporting verb said. Focus only on that. Other aspects don't focus. Once you learn all the 5 rules, you get a clear picture. Usually, a question, when you change, said changes to asked. Sometimes we use wanted to know, inquired. If you ask what is the difference between enquired and inquired, both mean the same. Enquired, British English, inquired, American English. Rule number 2 is very important. What is rule number 164? The second one when it comes to questions. If the reporting verb is in past tense, the tenses change to a corresponding past tense as in statements. The same table is applicable here. Tense changes table. If the reporting verb is in past tense, the tenses change to a corresponding past tense as in statements. That means present continuous changes to past continuous, present to past, past to past perfect, same table. Look at the examples. She said, "Where have you been?" Here, "where have you been?" That is present perfect. According to the table, present perfect changes to past perfect because the reporting verb is in past. Here, said changes to asked. She asked me where I had been. I had been past perfect. He said, "Whom were you talking to?" Here, past continuous. Past continuous changes to past perfect continuous. He asked the student whom he had been talking to. Had been talking to, past perfect continuous. Same table is applicable. Not only that, other changes. Now changes to then, here changes to there, this changes to that, these changes to those. Even that table is applicable if the reporting verb is in past. Two tables are applicable. But to deal with these rules, you got to be good at tenses. Rule number 165, this is also an important rule. It goes with common errors. What is rule number 165? The interrogative form. Question means what? Interrogative form. The interrogative form in direct speech changes to affirmative form in indirect speech. A lot of people tend to keep it in interrogative form, thinking that it is a question, so it should be in the question form. No, not correct. They said, "Where are you going?" Where are you going? It's a question that means interrogative form. When you change it, they asked the girl where she was going. Here, present continuous changes to past continuous, but interrogative form changes to affirmative. She was going, past continuous affirmative. Was she going? Interrogative. She wasn't going, negative. A common error a lot of people tend to say, they ask the girl, where was she going? Where was she going? Not correct. Where she was going is correct. He said, when will you come? He asked her when she would come. Will changes to would. And here, when will you come is a question. Interrogative form changes to affirmative. She would come, affirmative. Would she come, interrogative. She wouldn't come, negative. Here you have to remember because this is an important rule and because it comes under common errors in different exams they've given questions based on this particular rule, an important one. Rule number 166. If there is a question word in direct speech, it should be repeated in indirect speech. In English, we can ask questions using question words. If you ask me, sir, how many question words are there? There are about 15 question words, but question words, basic question words are six in number. What are these basic question words? What, when, where, who, why, and how? If there is a question word in direct speech, it should be repeated in indirect speech. Look at the examples. They said, why have you come? What is the question word here? Why? It has to be repeated. They asked me why I had come. She said, how will you come tomorrow? What is the question word? How? She asked me how I would come the next day. Questions are not that easy because there are five rules. After the fifth one, I will tell you how to deal with questions in indirect speech. Let us go to rule number 167. In English, we can ask questions without question words. How can we do that? We can ask questions using primary auxiliaries. There are three in number, you have already learned: be, do, and have. These three come under primary auxiliaries, and you can ask questions. For example, are you a student? This is a question, but there's no question word. Do you come every day? Question, but no question word. Have you done your work? Again, a question, but there's no question word. This rule goes with: if there's no question word, what are we supposed to do? If there is no question word in direct speech, we should use if or whether in indirect speech. For example, he said, are you a student? Here there's no question word. He asked me if I was a student, whether I was a student. Here, now I would like to focus on dealing with questions in indirect speech under pressure, not easy. What is the reason? You have to cross check so many things. First thing, reporting verb said is changed to asked. Fine. And interrogative form changes to affirmative. Present changes to past. Are you a student? Here it is in present. I was a student. It is in past. Are you a student? Interrogative. I was a student. Affirmative. And there's no question word. Then you have to use if or whether. He asked me if I was a student. He asked me if whether I was a student. And some students ask, so what is the difference between if and whether? As such, there is no difference. But conversation English point of view, because it is easy to say, we prefer the word if. Meaning wise, no difference. He asked me if I was a student. He asked me whether I was a student. Both mean the same. She said, is your mother at home? The girl. She asked the girl if her mother was at home. She asked the girl whether her mother was at home. Either way, it is correct. Either way, same meaning. So these are the five rules that go with questions in indirect speech. Yesterday, you got three rules, all the three rules related to statements. And today, you have got five rules. All the five rules go with questions. And tomorrow, you're going to get three rules. They go with commands and requests. Then I will bring, today I haven't brought an exercise. Tomorrow you will have an exercise. There you will have questions related to statements, questions, and commands and requests. Then the topic is over. All the 11 rules you have to. But let me tell you, before I wind up the session, I would like to reiterate this is not an easy topic. In my opinion, it's a tough topic, very difficult. Why? If you ask a question, to master this topic and one more topic, active voice and passive voice, you got to be good at tenses. All the 12 tenses should be at your fingertips. Only then you can deal with these two topics, active voice, passive voice, direct and indirect. Imagine you're not good at tenses, then it becomes difficult to answer the questions. It becomes difficult to spot the errors. You're under pressure, you don't have a lot of time, and you're not good at tenses, then it is not easy. So, what I suggest, try to master tenses. I have been telling students, I usually offline classes, I tell students online also, tenses are the key to English grammar. Tenses are the key to English language. If you master tenses, you can master English grammar. But you're not good at tenses, so many topics. Topics like active voice and passive voice, direct and indirect, question tags, conditionals, types of sentences, all these topics you won't be able to handle. That's all for today. Thank you very much.